Okay, abuja eba be breaking waha edemamo. NPP minority led by Afenyo Markins. Motion omo file say enka omo de hote Paul Baffoe Boni ne vetting as Chief Justice. Abuja ECOWAS a intervene omo approve Paul Baffoe Boni vetting as Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. Ama Sisiano omo at disgrace NPP minority and former Chief Justice Torkornoo&NPP asem ketwa kra Solomon Owusu ere honsem ababetu Bawumia corner yenkomputi ensema because unsubscribe ya subscribe like na share ma afofron so answer into me and kabia ha Ghana politics avenue. So and don't forget to click on the notification bell so that any update be able drop biano once able to me aka medamase
CJ nominee and the minorities plea for it to be put on hold. Mr. Osu.
Sana, once again, we are back to the same minority members of parliament who seem not to find their rhythm because of the way and manner some of them got themselves involved in parliamentary matters. In fact, if a proper scrutiny was done at the constituency levels by the party itself, a lot of them wouldn't have found themselves being in parliament because they fall short of the quality that is needed. You see, a bit of history, Senna. The NPP boycotted the 1992 parliamentary elections because, you know, in the 1992, the presidential elections took place before the parliamentary elections. And the NPP said that the NDC has stolen, former President John Rawlings has stolen the election, so they will not even take part in the 1992 parliamentary elections. Now, in 96, the NPP got to parliament together with the minority, having about 67 members of parliament. The NDC had an overwhelming majority. That was when I realized that it was not about the quantity, but it was about the quality. The quality of representation by the then minority, led by J.H. Mensah, was unmatched. The clarity of thought, their positions on several matters, endeared the party to the people of this country. And so by 2000, the 67 had metamorphosed into a majority. So ordinarily, the NPP having 87 members of parliament today should not be the problem. The problem they have today is the quality, their positions on several matters. And one of such matters is this vetting of the CJ. Senna, does the president has the power to appoint or nominate someone to be the Chief Justice? The answer is an emphatic yes. Once it's done, it goes to Parliament for the vetting to take place. If their position is upheld, what it means is that no president will be allowed to work in this country. All that will be happening is that when a president nominates or takes any decision, then I will go to court so that the president has to wait for a determination of that matter before his views or policies could be implemented. This is an absurdity. So if I tell you that the quality is suspect, you must understand it. Now, it is not about the quality of the nominee. I can tell you for a fact that Paul Baffoe Boni is a great judge. They are doing this to appease Madame Torkornoo. That is all to it. In the view of the NPP minority, the nemesis of Justice Torkornoo is largely coming from Justice Paul Baffoe Boni. And if you care to know, Justice Paul Baffoe Boni has only a year to expend as the Chief Justice. So what do? Let's use legal gymnastics to delay his vetting and by extension delay his appointment or occupation of the position of Chief Justice to the extent that even when he is approved, he will not have more than 2 months to be in office, and that will be great for them. It's all about Justice Baffoe and Torkornoo. That's what is playing out. Nothing more, nothing less. Else, if they claim that Justice Baffoe is not a good judge, then it becomes an indictment on the very NPP that they belong to. Because which political party or government appointed Baffoe to the Supreme Court? Was it not Akuffo? So, if today you tell us that Baffoe is not a good judge, are you telling us that Akuffo gave us someone who was not good? It cannot be. But because of the way and manner they themselves handled him, it's a long-standing judge at the Supreme Court, bypassed him. I'm even surprised that the man is still living around and is always cheerful. I'm very surprised because the sort of humiliation, if you are in a position and your juniors are always being promoted ahead of you, that is marks of either incompetence or I don't know what it is. So let us do everything possible to, as it were, deny him the opportunity of also recording his name in the history books of Ghana that he, Justice Baffoe, was once a Chief Justice of this land. That is what we are dealing with. And it's so sad. When I saw some of the people in there doing this, I realized that, look, they have lost their way. They have lost their way. Were you the one that advised the removed Chief Justice Torkornoo to expend 337,000 on tickets and per diems on the husband and the daughter? Were you the one that did that? So why must you be angry? Was it Justice Baffoe that asked the Chief Justice to flout the removed one? The laws that governs her office? He did not do that. In fact, in spite of the fact that as a senior member of the bench, that's at the Supreme Court, he had been denied the opportunity of leading that institution, he cooperated. So why must you take this evil about him? I would be very surprised if Parliament also waits, because it's an independent arm. We have been in this country where we were told by the then president, you remember on the matter of the e-levy, someone went to court, Justice Abdullahi, that the president, there had to be an injunction on it because it didn't meet certain threshold. The president assented to that bill, saying that notice of injunction was not an injunction. If you have been treated to that. So I'll be very surprised that the parliament of today will do otherwise. They must vet Baffoe expeditiously because there are a lot of cases that has to be tried. People are in all manner of cases that needs a substantive Chief Justice to do business. As we speak, the removed Chief Justice is all over the place. She is in ECOWAS court, you know about that. She has sued this country looking for $10 million, which is more than the budget of the Ministry of Women and Gender. You know that. She wants money more than a whole ministry to herself. As we speak, she has matters pending at the Supreme Court. As we speak, she has a matter at the High Court. As we speak, through Janet Nabila, there is a petition before 2-4. So what else must we do? At a point in time, you remember some faceless individuals who call themselves Commonwealth lawyers or judges. Where are they? Where are they? Where are they? We want to hear their voices in matters of the corruption cases that is happening in this country. The 2.4 billion cedis that is the subject matter of the National Service scandal. We want to hear those judges. Because there cannot be any human right violation than people stealing the wealth of the state. Where are they? All of a sudden, in the matter of Torkornoo, they popped up. All of a sudden, an association, the Ghana Bar Association, that in the initial stages said they agreed with the president because the president was following due process, was behaving within the confines of the law, changed their mind and said, oh, the president was engaging in an illegality. What sort of country are we building? So, because of your whims and caprices, Justice Paul Baffoe must be denied. Must be denied. If you think you have anything against Justice Baffoe, I will be the first person to support you. Because we cannot get an incompetent person occupying the position of a Chief Justice. So you go to Parliament and submit whatever you have against him to the appointment committee. They are not doing that. He said because the removed Chief Justice, who 1 month, 1 court, she's going to give him far more. We should wait for all these cases to be expended, dispensed with, before we will come back to vetting. So if I tell you that it's all about Baffoe and the attempt to deny him of being the Chief Justice, would I be wrong? So Parliament of Ghana, they must, without any equivocation or hesitation, empanel the appointment committee as quickly as possible. Go and ask relevant questions. Some of the questions are too light. We want to hear probing questions that go to the core of the office, so that we can assess him as to whether or not he is competent for the office, and we move on as a country. And so Ghanaians must not entertain it. It's much ado about nothing. It's about serving an individual's interest, which interest does not supersede the interest of the state. Ghana is a sovereign country, and we must always rise above some of these pettiness. It will not help anybody. And just to digress a bit, my brother attempted responding to what I was saying, that Article 19C says that a person is innocent until proven guilty. But who has pronounced anybody guilty? The written court is a public document. When you file a document in court, it's a public document. The response or the affidavit in opposition from the defendants are also a public document. I am saying you have stolen. They are also saying they are not stolen. Why are you accusing them that why you say you have not stolen? So you say the Attorney General is saying they have stolen. They are also saying they have not stolen. That's why there is a judge. So there cannot be any qualms about it. We must encourage some of these things. It's the beauty of democracy. It's the beauty of the law at play. But what we will not allow people to gaslight us into believing is that as we live in this country, we don't know that our people have stolen our public funds. We will not allow that. We will, look, no matter the semantics, the adjective they use, they have stolen from us. You have a whole finance minister, Kenneth Ofori, after his tenure. He has run away from this country. We have been told on countless occasions, first it used to be his lawyers who are preaching to us daily. Boisterous in nature, bourgeois. They were telling us that their peace of mind, as though the country belongs to them. That he was undergoing surgery. He was in Mayo Clinic. As a finance minister, the very reason why you must be in this country is the very reason he's citing that he's in the US. You were managing my tax revenue. That tax revenue was to be managed in such a way and manner that it could be used to construct modern day clinic and hospitals in this country, just like the Mayo Clinic. So that when my mother from the poor village, Mujib's mother from the poor village, your mother from the poor village is sick, she will not be looking for US visa to go to America before she gets treated, and that she would be treated locally. You did this, use 97 choppable American dollars together with your brother and Akuffo to go and dig a hole at Ridge, and that hole is still there. $97 million. So now, do you know what that money could have done to the economy of this country? The 5 northern regions alone, it could have turned around the agriculture that they are doing there, the farming that they are doing there. The number of combined harvesters that it could have bought. The former finance minister finishes his tenure or term and he runs from this country. We are told he will be back to Ghana in May of 2025. He doesn't show up. July, he doesn't show up. October, he doesn't show up. We are in November. Today is the 1st of November. No one is telling us when he's going to come to this country. Then you tell us that a person is innocent until proven guilty. If he did what was right, why would he be running away from this country? Just like the Baffoe stock, the second accused has run away. If he did what was right, why would he run? A country that borrowed $13.5 billion under the able watch of the Akuffo, Bawumia, and Ken Oforiatta, we cannot see the benefit of it. All the major roads leading out of Accra are in terrible shape. Accra Kumasi does not fit to be a road to the village or the farm of any serious country. Accra West, Accra Takrady West, Accra Kofodia West. So what did they actually use the money for? So that you were in this country a couple of days ago, ECG, you saw their public accounts. How they stole from us. They themselves were telling, and they were laughing. What even annoys me is that when they are saying it, they don't know shame. Then they will be laughing on top of it. They will put on their jacket with their spectacle and they come and laugh. Meanwhile, millions of people are suffering what they will eat a day. Every day our phones, the messages that are coming. We need this, we need that, we need that. You say a person is innocent? When you are being told that chain home $1.6 million, send a simple calculation, lifestyle order. That's why from the movement to date, if you take our constitution as the United Party, this is a copy, I'll get to a copy, I'll get to a copy. We continue to preach about lifestyle audit. How can a person's salary be on the average 28,000? Let me even make it 30,000. And here I'm talking about Hanan. And then assume that he occupied the position for 8 years. 30,000 sana annually gives you 360,000 cedis per annum. If it was 8 years, it makes it what? 2.8 million Ghana cedis. Is 2.8 million Ghana cedis able to pay for $1.65 million for only one of the properties? He's not on record to have had any other businesses before coming into power or going into government. And we see all these things, and you have a lawyer go to court because the law protects the rich. The poor man is the reason why we have lost. Take it from me. It's because of the poor man that we have lost. Because like I told you, Mauli Agbenya in Jasika, who was in prison for a year, a carpenter, he went to court and he couldn't afford the services of a lawyer, so he pleaded guilty. Immediately he was jailed. Richard Asare, the 18-year-old boy who was also jailed for 6 months for stealing a goat, he went to court and pleaded guilty because he didn't have any lawyer. The woman that was supposed to comfort a Jua who had gone to steal groceries worth 1,384 went to court and pleaded guilty because she did not have the benefit of a lawyer. When the so-called people that we call them rich men steal because they have the benefit of securing the service of a lawyer, they go to court and they get things muddled up and then they get away with it. And you say they are innocent. You are not. You are stolen from us. You are not innocent of anything. And that unless the youth of this country begin to be angry, it is your future that is being stolen. Your future is being stolen. I'll end it here.
Thank you very much. Well, I will jump straight to Comrade Pratt for his views on this. So I'm hoping that we get to the last one, which is why I have.
Okay, abusia we ne ensema ekoso our political highway so aye Solomon Owusu and yetene ka say odisa ensem no tudwa enye asam ketwa kra beda mase some jepene kokoti sa ensem we e de mi aha Ghana Politics Avenue. So and don't forget to click on the notification bell so any update be able drop bia no onso onsa ebetumi aka beda mase.